Imagine holding in your hand a small piece of metal that tells the story of a nation, its culture, its history, and its identity. The Australian $1 coin of 2010 is not just a circulating piece of currency, it is a living artifact that connects everyday life to the deeper traditions of minting, design, and commemoration in Australia. This coin has a fascinating story, and when you dive into its background, you uncover an incredible journey that stretches from the birth of the $1 denomination in 1984 through decades of design choices, mintage changes, and commemorative releases, until finally reaching the year 2010, which itself represents a special moment in the evolution of modern Australian coinage, the standard $1. Coin of Australia was first introduced in 1984, replacing the $1 banknote, and from the very beginning it carried the iconic design created by Stuart Devlin, showing 5 bounding kangaroos, a design that quickly became one of the most recognizable symbols of Australian currency. By 2010, this kangaroo design was well established as the circulating standard. However, the Royal Australian Mint did not simply continue with tradition, it also produced special commemorative versions of the $1 coin in 2010 that captured themes of national identity, history, and milestones. So the year 2010 offers collectors and historians a window into both the routine and the exceptional aspects of coin production. In 2010, Australia was still within the reign of Queen Elizabeth II, and her portrait by Ian Rank Broadley appeared on the obverse of all $1 coins in circulation. This effigy had been introduced in 1999 and remained until 2019, when the Jody Clark portrait replaced it. The Rank Broadley effigy is distinctive for its more realistic representation of the Queen compared to earlier portraits, and this style defines the look of the obverse for the 2010 dollar coin. The inscriptions around the portrait include Elizabeth to Australia 2010, which clearly ties the coin to its national and historical context. On the reverse side, the standard circulation coin continued with Stuart Devlin's 5 kangaroos, symbolizing strength, energy, and the Australian environment. However, the Royal Australian Mint has long embraced the practice of issuing commemorative designs alongside the standard ones. And in 2010, this tradition was carried forward. For instance, one of the most significant commemorative issues of 2010 was the $1 coin celebrating the centenary of Australian coinage itself, because it was in 1910 that Australia released its first national coins under King Edward VII, replacing the use of British currency. This 2010 commemorative coin marked 100 years of Australian coins and carried a special design that paid tribute to that historical milestone. The centenary of coinage. $1 coin showed a unique reverse featuring a stylized depiction of a King Edward VII florin from 1910. Acknowledging the moment Australia established its own identity and currency separate from Great Britain, this made the 2010 issue not only a piece of money, but also a deliberate act of commemoration, bridging a century of national numismatic heritage. Collectors instantly recognized its importance, and it became a highly sought-after issue, especially in proof sets and uncirculated versions. From the mint, another important theme of 2010 coinage was the exploration of environmental and cultural motifs. The Royal Australian Mint has often used the $1 denomination as a canvas for such designs because its size allows for detailed artwork. In 2010, several collector coins were struck in base metal silver and gold that carried designs linked to Australia's animals' national achievements and institutions. Each of these coins added layers to the story of the 2010 $1 series, creating a rich field of study for numismatists. When discussing the mintage of the 2010 $1 coin, we see that the Royal Australian Mint produced millions of standard circulation coins, ensuring their wide presence across the country, while the commemorative issues were released in much smaller quantities, creating a natural scarcity that drives collector interest today. For example, the 2010 centenary of coinage $1 was distributed in uncirculated coin sets and proof sets, rather than in mass circulation. This means many Australians never encountered one in everyday transactions. but collectors who secured them preserved an important piece of national history. In terms of design, History 2010 stands at an interesting crossroads. It is more than a quarter century after the introduction of the $1 denomination, yet it is still within the reign of Queen Elizabeth II and still features the familiar kangaroo design in circulation, but it also branches into new directions with commemorative issues that honor a century of coinage. This duality makes the 2010 $1 coin significant because it reflects continuity and change at the same time. And this is precisely what makes it such a compelling subject for an in-depth study collectors who examine the fine details of the 2010 issues. Notice subtle differences in strike-quality finishes and packaging depending on whether a coin came from a mint roll, a mint set, or a special release proof. The Royal Australian Mint has maintained a reputation for precision and artistry in its special issues, and the 2010 series continues that tradition. The proof versions display mirror-like fields and frosted designs, showcasing the artistry of minting at its highest level, while the uncirculated versions still carry sharp strikes that capture every detail of the effigy and reverse design. To fully appreciate the 2010 $1 coin, we must also place it in the larger context of Australian coinage history. Since the Federation in 1901, the nation has sought to balance its British heritage with its unique Australian identity, and coin designs have reflected that balance. Early issues carried symbols of monarchy and empire, but over time, more distinctly, Australian motifs were introduced, such as the kangaroo and the coat of arms. By 2010, Australia had a fully matured coinage system that was recognized worldwide for its quality and for the way it represented the country's natural and cultural heritage. For coin collectors, the 2010 $1 coin offers a wealth of study topics, from the obverse portrait to the reverse designs, from the mintage numbers to the commemorative significance, from the physical properties of the coin, which is aluminum bronze, weighing 9 grams with a diameter of 25 millimeters, to the cultural meanings that the designs communicate. It is a coin that invites research, cataloging, and careful preservation. The historical resonance of the 2010 centenary of coinage issue cannot be overstated because it directly ties back to 1910, when Australia's first coins, under King Edward VII, marked the beginning of a distinct national identity in currency. By issuing a commemorative coin 100 years later, the Royal Australian Mint created a bridge across time, reminding Australians of their numismatic journey and celebrating a century of independence in coinage. As you trace the path of the 2010 Australian $1 coin, you see how it embodies themes of continuity, heritage, commemoration, and national pride. It is more than money. It is history. It is art, and it is culture preserved in metal for future generations. And this makes the 2010 $1 coin not only an object of daily use, but also a treasure for those who know how to read its story. Have you ever held a coin in your hand and wondered if it could tell a story far greater than the metal it is struck upon? The Australian $1 coin of 1996 is one of those coins that captures not only the weight of currency, but also the narrative of a nation that celebrates its culture, history, and changing identity. And if you are a coin collector, a historian, or simply curious about the small treasures of daily life, this story of the 1996 Australian $1 coin will take you deep into the heart of numismatic history. To understand the $1 coin of 1996, we must first trace the journey of the Australian $1 denomination itself. The $1 coin replaced the paper note in 1984, a decision that was made by the Royal Australian Mint to reduce costs of production and to ensure the longevity of a high circulation denomination. The paper notes wore out too quickly while a coin could last decades in circulation. The very first $1 coin featured the famous design of Stuart Devlin, the renowned goldsmith and jeweler, whose kangaroo design has since become iconic for Australians and collectors worldwide. By 1996, the $1 coin was already a well-established part of Australian daily life. And yet this year holds special significance because of its role in commemorative and circulating issues, while many Australians simply saw the coin as everyday pocket change for those who study coins. The year 1996 represents an important chapter in the evolution of the currency and the way the nation projected its image through numismatics. The obverse of the 1996 $1 coin, like all circulating coins of the period, featured the portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, designed by Raphael Makhlouf. This effigy had been introduced in 1985 and continued to be used on Australian coins until 1998. Makhlouf's portrait was distinctive for its regal dignity, portraying the Queen wearing the royal diadem, a small crown, as well as her pearl, earrings, and necklace. It was a refined and detailed design meant to convey stability, authority, and continuity of the monarchy in the Commonwealth. On the reverse of the circulating 1996 $1 coin, we see the now legendary kangaroo mob design by Stuart Devlin. The coin depicts 5 bounding kangaroos arranged in dynamic movement, a tribute not only to Australia's most recognized native animal, but also a symbol of progress, vitality, and national identity. The kangaroo had long been associated with Australia, appearing on coats of arms stamps and earlier coinage, but Devlin's interpretation gave the animal a sense of life and energy that made the design both artistic and functional, while the circulating 1996 $1 coin carried this standard kangaroo design. The year also gave rise to a number of important commemorative issues. One of the most notable was the $1 coin issued to mark the centenary of the Australian Parliament. The commemorative design featured the image of Australia's first Parliament House in Melbourne, where the very first session of Parliament was held in 1901. This coin did not replace the standard kangaroo design, but circulated alongside it, giving Australians a choice of coins in their change and creating a fascinating moment in numismatic history. The Parliament commemorative design symbolized democratic tradition and political heritage, a reminder that the nation had grown through a century of lawmaking governance and representation of the people. Another aspect that makes the 1996 $1 coin significant is the context of the decade itself. Australia was preparing to enter the new millennium, a time of reflection on its identity, its place in the world, and its achievements. The use of commemorative coins in the 1990s allowed Australians to see their history reflected back at them in the money they handled every day. And the Parliament Centenary Dollar of 1996 was one such mirror of the past from a technical perspective. The coin was struck in aluminum bronze, an alloy consisting of 92% copper, 6% aluminum, and 2% nickel, giving it its golden color. The coin weighed 9 grams, measured 25 millimeters in diameter, and was produced at the Royal Australian Mint in Canberra. The precision with which these coins were struck, the volume of their mintage, and the variety of finishes, whether circulation strike or collector proof, all contribute to their place in the numismatic record. Mintage figures are essential in understanding rarity and value for collectors. The circulating kangaroo reverse dollar of 1996 was produced in large numbers to meet the demands of daily commerce, but the commemorative Parliament centenary coin, while also produced in the millions, carries a distinct identity that has made it attractive to collectors, especially in high-grade, uncirculated or proof condition collector sets issued by the Mint. Included proof versions struck with polished dies and planchets, giving them a mirror-like finish that made the designs stand out in dramatic contrast. Collectors and historians also pay close attention to varieties and errors, and while the 1996 $1 coins are not especially famous for minting mistakes, occasional off-center strikes, die cracks, or planchet flaws can add intrigue and value to individual specimens. Such coins remind us that even in the age of modern minting technology, imperfections can slip through and end up as part of the historical record. The cultural impact of the 1996 $1 coin goes beyond its metal composition and design. It reflects Australia's desire to use its coinage as a vehicle for national storytelling. Coins are not just currency. They are history in miniature. They carry messages to millions of people, silently reminding them of who they are and where they come from. In this sense, the 1996 $1 coin serves as a time capsule of mid-1990s Australia, a country, both proud of its democratic institutions and comfortable with its identity as a young but confident nation. In the broader numismatic market, today the value of the 1996 $1 coin depends heavily on condition and type. The standard circulation coin is relatively common and worth little more than face value in worn condition, but high-grade uncirculated examples graded by professional services can fetch a premium among collectors. The Parliament Centenary commemorative coin is also easily obtainable in circulation quality, but in proof sets or mint sets with perfect condition packaging. Its value increases significantly. The desirability of these coins is heightened by their historical theme and their role in marking a centenary that will never be repeated, as we stretch our gaze wider into the 200-year arc of Australian coinage. The 1996 $1 coin finds its place not as the rarest or the most valuable, but as a solid marker of a nation commemorating its institutions, while maintaining the everyday functionality of money. It is this duality that makes coins like these fascinating. They are ordinary, yet extraordinary. They are pocket change, yet they carry stories of parliaments, monarchs, national animals, and collective memory. Imagine for a moment the countless hands that have passed a 1996 $1 coin through shops, restaurants, train stations, and schools, each person unknowingly participating in a chain that connects the present to the past. Coins like this travel silently, yet they tell volumes about the society that produces and uses them. They are a national diary, written in metal, available to anyone who cares to look closely enough. For numismatists, the study of the 1996 $1 coin is a reminder that every coin has multiple dimensions: its physical attributes, its artistic design, its historical context, its cultural symbolism, its economic function, and its collector value. When these layers are carefully unfolded, the coin becomes far more than money. It becomes a storybook. So the next time you come across a $1 coin from 1996, pause and think of its journey. Think of the portrait of the Queen by Raphael Makhlouf, a portrait that marked an era. Think of Stuart Devlin's kangaroos. Leaping across generations of coins, think of the Parliament Centenary design that commemorated a century of governance in Australia. Think of the way metal alloy was shaped with precision to reflect both everyday necessity and national pride, and think of how something so small and seemingly ordinary can carry within it the vastness of history. The 1996 Australian $1 coin is more than currency. It is a bridge between the past and the present, a marker of national milestones, and a work of numismatic art for collectors. It is a piece worth holding on to, not because of its rarity, but because of its story. And for historians, it is a reminder that history is often found in the smallest of objects. Imagine holding in your hand a coin that carries the story of a nation, a coin that is more than just a piece of metal used for everyday transactions, a coin that tells us about the history, the culture, the economy, and even the art of an entire people. And today we dive into one such coin, the Australian $1 coin from the year 2009. This coin is a fascinating piece, not only because it is part of the highly recognized and iconic $1 series, but also because 2009 was a year that brought forward special issues, designs, and minting events that make this coin unique in the long line of Australian numismatics. When we look at the $1 coin of 2009, we first need to understand the broader history of the Australian dollar itself. The dollar replaced the Australian pound in 1966. When the country made the transition to decimal currency, the $1 note circulated for many years until inflation and daily use made it impractical. So in 1984, the Reserve Bank of Australia introduced the $1 coin, replacing the note with a golden-colored coin made from aluminum bronze, which gave it its distinctive look. The coin featured the iconic design by Stuart Devlin, showing 5 kangaroos hopping together, an image that quickly became one of the most recognized Australian coin designs around the world. This design has been the standard reverse for circulation coins, but over the years, special commemorative designs have been released, marking anniversaries, cultural achievements, and important national events. And 2009 was one of those fascinating years because it was a time when the Royal Australian Mint struck coins that carried meaning beyond face value. To understand the 2009 $1 coin fully, we need to explore what was happening at the Royal Australian Mint, and in the world of Australian coinage at the time 2009 marked the International Year of Astronomy, and the Mint issued a commemorative $1 coin celebrating this global theme. The coin featured a beautiful design inspired by the Southern Cross constellation, one of the most recognizable features of the Australian night sky, and a symbol found on the national flag. This release connected the coin to both global science and national identity, and it demonstrated how coins can act as miniature canvases, telling stories that link everyday people to wider events and ideas. The Mint also issued in 2009 the $1 kangaroo at sunset coin, a numismatic masterpiece. Featuring a single kangaroo set against the backdrop of the setting sun, this coin was released in limited numbers as part of the Mint's effort to attract collectors, and it became an instant favorite because of its simplicity, elegance, and symbolic value, showing how the kangaroo had moved from just a symbol of hopping vitality in the standard design to a lone figure representing the land itself, its people, and their connection to nature. Coins like this show us how art and national identity intertwine on even the smallest surfaces, but circulation coins of 2009 also carry stories. The standard kangaroo reverse continued to circulate as millions were minted and spent every day in shops across Australia, yet collectors always search for varieties, errors, and low-mintage figures, and the 2009 $1 coin has its place in this ongoing search. Some were struck with slightly off-center designs, some had minor die cracks, and these minting anomalies, although unintentional, became treasures. For those who study coins closely, each error tells the story of the minting process and the challenges of striking millions of coins at industrial speed with precision and quality. The obverse of the 2009 $1 coin continued to carry the Portrait of Queen Elizabeth II designed by Ian Rank Broadley, which had been introduced in 1999 and remained on Australian coinage until it was replaced later by a new effigy. This portrait was known for its realistic and strong depiction of the Queen, showing her maturity and dignity rather than the youthful images that had preceded it. The obverse reminds us that Australian coins are also tied to the constitutional monarchy, linking Australia to the Commonwealth and symbolizing the continuity of tradition, even while the country embraces its own distinct culture. To make a 2-hour documentary or detailed history on this coin, one must dive into the stories behind the designs, the engravers, the minting process, and the collectors who give these coins life. We would explore how the Royal Australian Mint functions, its machinery, its design studios, and the teams of artists and engravers who turn ideas into metal. We would look into how 2009 as a year reflected changes in the global economy as the world was recovering from the global financial crisis, and how coins symbolized economic confidence, stability, and national pride, even when larger financial systems were under pressure. Every coin minted in 2009 was not just a tool for commerce, but also a statement that the system of money remained strong. We could also explore the collecting culture that surrounds the $1 coins of Australia. Collectors examine not just circulation issues, but also mint sets proof. Coins and uncirculated strikes. Many collectors would have purchased the 2009 proof and uncirculated sets from the mint, where the coins were struck with polished dies, creating a mirror finish that turned an everyday object into a work of art. And those coins are now sought after because they capture that year's issues in pristine condition, untouched by circulation. When looking at the 2009 $1 coin, we also need to consider its international place. Australian coins circulate primarily in Australia, but they are also recognized by collectors worldwide because of their distinctive golden color and beautiful designs. The 2009 commemorative issues in particular have found places in collections across Europe, Asia, and North America, bringing with them an appreciation for Australia's art and culture. Coins in this way act as ambassadors traveling far beyond the borders of the nation. They were struck in over the course of this long journey through the history of the 2009 $1 coin. We discover not just a piece of money, but a piece of history, a reflection of national identity, a small artwork, and a collector's treasure. We see how a single year in a long-running series can offer us a lens into the workings of a nation's mint, its artistic vision, and its place in the global community. And this is what makes the 2009 $1 coin worth studying, worth collecting, and worth telling its story in full detail. Imagine holding in your hand a single Australian $1 coin from the year 2008, a coin so small and ordinary at first glance, yet carrying within it layers of history, artistry, economic story, and cultural meaning that many people have never truly considered. And in this journey, we are going to take that 2008 $1 coin apart, not physically, but historically and professionally, to see how a simple piece of metal represents decades of heritage minting decisions and the way Australia itself presents its story to the world. And what we uncover will surprise even seasoned collectors and make you see coins in a new light. The 2008 Australian $1 coin belongs to a series that began in 1984, when Australia transitioned from using the $1 note to a coin designed for durability, practicality, and symbolism. The choice to depict 5 bounding kangaroos designed by Stuart Devlin was not just an artistic decision, it was a conscious national symbol with the kangaroo, as an icon of movement, resilience, and distinctly Australian identity. By 2008, the $1 coin had been circulating for almost a quarter of a century and was well established in both the economy and the imagination of the people. But what makes the 2008 issues worth a deep dive is how they fit into the broader context of minting practice commemorations and the ongoing evolution of the Royal Australian Mint in 2008. The regular circulating coin featured the standard kangaroo reverse design, paired with the portrait of Queen Elizabeth II by Ian Rank Broadley, a design introduced in 1999 and used through the early 2000s. This portrait showed the Queen in a more mature, realistic representation compared to the earlier Raphael, Makhlouf, and Arnold machine. Portraits. The 2008 coin therefore represents a moment in continuity with the established national narrative, while also reflecting a stylistic shift toward realism and subtlety in royal imagery. But the year 2008 was not just about standard circulation pieces, because this was a period when the Royal Australian Mint was increasing its production of collector pieces, commemorative issues, and special releases, and these tell us much more about how coinage functions. As both currency and cultural artifact in 2008, the Mint issued a number of special $1 coins that diverged from the standard kangaroo design, and these include the uncirculated commemoratives like the International Year of Planet Earth, dollar, and also coins issued within sets and presentations that explored Australia's history, its people, and its environment. The International Year of Planet Earth $1 coin is a fascinating example. It was produced to align with a global, United Nations initiative promoting awareness of sustainable use of the planet's resources, and the design featured a stylized view of the Earth, reinforcing the idea that coins can serve as both everyday objects and educational tools, reminding people that money carries messages beyond numbers. The fact that Australia chose to participate in this global recognition through its coinage demonstrates how the Mint integrates international themes into national currency. At the same time, 2008 also continued the celebration of Australia's unique fauna and culture through limited editions and mint sets, collectors could access proof and uncirculated versions of the $1 coin with exceptional finish and quality, and for those who study numismatics. These issues serve as markers of how the mint balanced everyday needs with collector demand. Another important aspect of the 2008 dollar is its mintage and circulation patterns. The standard circulating kangaroo $1 coins were produced in large quantities for everyday use, but not all years saw equal distribution, and collectors often study the exact figures to identify scarcity and potential long-term value. The Royal Australian Mint records show how many coins were struck for circulation versus how many were created for collector sets. And by examining the 2008 production, we can see where it sits compared to other years of the decade, while not considered one of the lowest mintage years. 2008 still draws collector interest because of the variety of designs available in that single year. From a technical perspective, the coin remained consistent with earlier $1 issues. A diameter of 25 millimeters, a weight of 9 grams, and struck in aluminum, bronze giving it the distinctive golden color. This consistency reflects the mint's adherence to practical monetary standards, while also allowing for artistic freedom on the reverse side, and for collectors the physical attributes are just as important as the imagery because they define how the coin feels in the hand and how it endures in circulation. The historical context of 2008 in Australia also deserves consideration because coins never exist in isolation. They are products of their time and reflect broader economic and cultural circumstances. In 2008, the global financial crisis was shaking economies worldwide, and while Australia fared better than many countries, the sense of uncertainty and change was in the air. A coin struck in that year carries that unspoken historical weight. Even if it was not designed explicitly to mark the crisis, it still circulated through the hands of people experiencing one of the most significant economic events of modern times, and in this way coins become silent witnesses to history. For those who collect the 2008 Australian $1 coin today, whether in its standard kangaroo form or in the special commemorative issues, there is an appreciation not only of the metal itself, but of what it represents, the craftsmanship of the mint, the artistry of designers, the authority of the Commonwealth, the cultural symbols of kangaroos, earth and heritage, and the silent testimony of a coin that passed through the everyday economy during a turbulent global year. When you look closely at a 2008 $1 coin, you are not just looking at a piece of money, you are holding a chapter in a story that stretches back to 1984, when the $1 coin was first born forward through decades of shifting royal portraits, global commemorations, national pride and economic change, and into the present, where collectors and historians continue to study each year as if it were a time capsule. Each line, each curve, each portrait carries meaning. And when we unfold that meaning, we discover why even a single coin deserves 2 hours of careful history. This is the essence of the 2008 Australian $1 coin, a bridge between everyday life and national identity, between economic necessity and artistic expression, and between the moment it was minted and the moment it is studied by you today. And that is why this coin is not just a piece of metal, but a story worth telling in depth, for those who truly want to understand how coins shape and reflect the world around us.